friends, welcome to another week, a new week, and here, the 6th episode of the Kumbi-Gikku Show, where we review the last 7 days matches. And today, with K. Srinath, the former first-class player and currently a BCCI-panel umpire and co-author of the book, The Handbook of Cricket Psychology, he and I are going to discuss the last 7 days matches, starting with RajasthanRoyals against Gujarat Titans, and the match remembered for Vaibhav Suryavanshi and his blistering 100, becoming the youngest to score an IPL century, 14-year-old. And we'll discuss the matches until last night, which was Punjab Kings, who inched closer to the IPL playoffs, and in doing so are showing Lucknow Super Giants the door, though they are still in contention. Rishabh Pant's LSG. Shri, welcome to this fresh episode of the Kumbi-Gikku Show. How have you been? And I believe the background is slightly different, so you're not in your home in Bangalore.
Yeah, Jikku, I've been keeping well, and I've moved to my hometown, my birthplace, Madurai. So can't miss the action. So I'm here just for the day. And yes, otherwise all good, Jikku. How have things been at your end?
Things have been as usual, just following the IPL matches and seeing who is in and who is out, and who is on the verge of getting into the playoffs, and who is also on the verge of being going out. So we see that the top position, there are still a few favorites who are sure shots of going into the IPL playoffs, but still the fight is getting more intense and intense. How do you look at the points table, which is where RCB have come to number 1? They have regained the number 1 position. Mumbai Indians have climbed up, reached up to number 2, but because of the matches and the results, they are up or second or third position. DC is steadily in top 4. The fight is also between Punjab Kings, KKR is still not out, and LSG, despite losing the last couple of matches, with their 5 wins, they are still in the race because they can go up to a maximum of 14 points. So how do you look at the points table and your thoughts on the last week's matches?
I think one thing that is very clear is an early elimination for 2 former champions of IPL. 5-time winner CSK and the winner in the inaugural edition, RajasthanRoyals. I think both of them have been shown the door. And mathematically, though SRH are in the race, but yes, not theoretically to write them off, but to be a part of the top 4 looks a distant dream for them. Yes, the mid-table is looking a bit tight in terms of KKR, LSG and DC. So all 3 have got a very fair chance of, barging into the top 4. Coming to the top 4, we have RCB topping the table, followed by Punjab Kings. Then number 3 is Mumbai Indians and followed by GT. I think nothing much has changed at the top 4 from the last week. Just minor shift from 2 to 3 or 3 to 2, or RCB moving up the ladder. What's interesting, Jikku, is the previous edition, we all thought that 14 points was a threshold for the teams to make it to the playoffs. But I think this year, you are not sure shot to be a part of the playoffs if you are on 14. Because RCB is already on 16. We have a couple of teams already sitting on 14. And the mid-table already is on 11, 12 and 13. So 14 is certainly not the threshold limit. And this week, take it from me, is going to be really hot. Not only in terms of weather, but in terms of the teams, racing up to the top 4. A very interesting week. So how RCB and the other 3 teams in the top 4 would like to retain their positions. At the same time, the teams in the middle which have an outside chance, how they come back strongly is going to be very interesting this week.
Among the matches that we saw in the last 7 days, KolkataKnightRiders, they were up against, RajasthanRoyals, who could be spoiling everybody else's party. They had to win against RR yesterday in Eden Gardens. And what a win. The narrowest of margins, 1-run victory, which could have been a defeat for KKR, and it is that much more closer to the elimination, but still they hung by the, however you say, the scruff of the neck or whatever. Vaibhav Arora, who was going all over bowled that crucial Yorker, the last ball, when 3 runs or 2 runs were needed, 3 runs were needed, and they eventually won by 1 run. So that speaks about how KKR, the defending champions, still want to not lose out on the playoffs position. Isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of positives in this game is, we've been discussing about the form of Andre Russell. I think yesterday was the day when he came out to bat, maybe around about the 12th over, which was an ideal platform for him. And, he was his usual self, which helped KKR to get to the score of 200 plus. Yes, a fabulous run chase, though they lost more than half of their, close to half of the side in the first 10 overs. But a fantastic knock by the skipper Riyan Parag, who kept everybody on their toes. As you said, a brilliant final over, especially the final ball bowled by Vaibhav Arora. But what was quite surprising for me was not using the services of an experienced bowler like Andre Russell. Because when Jofra Archer bowled for RR, his experience came in handy. The same way around for KKR, the most experienced bowler, when you take Sunil Narine out of the equation, was Andre Russell. When Harshit Rana went for plenty and Vaibhav Arora was not finding his areas, I thought maybe, somewhere close to over number between 10 and 15, he could have had an over or two of Andre Russell. Maybe that could have eased out the pressure and brought the game much closer in favor of KKR. That was something that was surprising, especially from a very experienced cricketer like Ajinkya Rahane. But nevertheless, we can discuss many things as to what went wrong, what they could have done better. But the final result, 2 points on the board, still staying alive in the middle of the table now. Just a few points away from the playoffs. That's what KKR's result came through yesterday.
And you have always been saying about Rinku Singh and Andre Russell and how their contribution in the middle and in the end is crucial for KKR. And yesterday, both of them did well. Of course, Andre Russell got his first 50 in this IPL, and it surprised everyone when Andre Russell took a strike of the last ball of the 20th over, gave it to Rinku Singh. But then Rinku Singh did what is expected of him and what otherwise Andre Russell would have done. He just hit 2 sixes and a 4, took those runs of Akash Madhwal. So it was either Rinku Singh or Andre Russell. It just meant the same for KKR, isn't it? And how happy were you to see Russell hit those sixes, especially when he always targets the long on, the region between long on and mid wicket, with his left leg stretching out, swinging the back like a golf club, and it just disappears into the stands. I was thrilled to see Andre Russell and was hoping that he would do this in the previous matches, but finally it came off yesterday.
I think, it's all about coming out at the right time. And maybe a couple of games earlier, if they had Russell run into this sort of form, I think it would have been really good for KKR. But nevertheless, they are heading closer now. 3 games left and 3 out of 3 if they have victories under the belt. With 16 points, certainly, they can look at a chance into the playoffs. Yes, both of them coming good is a great sign for KKR. And now I think they have got most of the bases covered. Raghuvanshi has done well in the past. Rahane is stuck form. But yes, still the worry for them has been their opening partnership. Now it's been Gurbaz and Narayan in the last couple of games. If they can stitch a good partnership up front in the power play, I think now with Russell and Rinku Singh coming good, I think it augurs well for KKR. I think they need to get this momentum going forward and ensure that they leave no gaps, really unfilled. I think it was a terrific victory and a great morale booster for KKR.
And after 11 matches, KKR, like you mentioned about their opening pair not striking it rich, they are still to get a 50-plus partnership for the first wicket, and which is surprising coming from the defending champions. KKR's opponents yesterday, Rajasthan Royals. What a start to the week they had last Monday against Gujarat Titans. The way Vaibhav Suryavanshi smashed record after record, the second fastest to the IPL 100 after Chris Gayle, the youngest to score a IPL 100. But then he could not continue the form in the next 2 matches, lasting not more than 2 balls in each of those 2 matches against Mumbai Indians and yesterday against KKR. I'm sure he has got a long way to learn, and but still he has got a lot of potential and talent, isn't it? Like we saw in that blazing 100, 35 ball 100, 38 ball 101. Vaibhav Suryavanshi is here to stay, isn't he?
True, no two things, Jiko. He's very exciting and precious talent, and was very interesting to listen to Rahul in the press conference, talking about the adulation, the sort of appreciation he's going to get from the media. It's going to be tough to keep him out of that, but it's still a long way to go for him. He's still very much work in progress. 100 is just not going to take him over the moon. He knows it's a long process, but certainly yes. Vaibhav Suryavanshi is precious talent, and again in the last show I did mention he has to stay grounded. He has to take care of himself, plus the people around him. It's very important to ensure he's focused more on the game rather than anything happening around him. Absolutely. I mean, it was a treat to watch. I mean, the 100 he made was not against bowlers of any less ability. It was Mohammad Siraj, a proven customer, Prasid, who held on to the purple cap for a very long time till the last couple of games, and a 100 test match veteran like Ishant Sharma. He took them to the cleaners. I think his mindset was very clear. He was just playing the ball. He was not playing the bowler's name. I mean, normally at a very young age, cricketers are taught to get that fear out of the mind, saying that never play the name, just play the bowler. Never bowl to the name, just bowl to the batter. I think that's what he's been following very clearly, and I think he's in a good franchisee wherein the support staff have taken care of him well, and I think this is a place where he can really grow well. Yes, very exciting, and looking forward to maybe another couple of games he's still got in this IPL. Hope he can replicate the sort of form he showed when he got that 100. Yes, absolutely, he's somebody looking forward to in the longer run to serve Indian cricket for a long time.
And he's only 14 years and 1 month or so. But he is only the 4th centurion in this IPL, and all 4 have been left-handers. And there have been chances for the right-handers to score 100, but they all just went in the 90s. Like yesterday, we saw Riyan Parag fall for 95. Later on, it was Prabh Singh, the consistent batsman, opener from PBK's, fall for 91. And the previous night on Saturday, another teenage sensation, Ayush Matre, falling for 94. Still, a right-hander has to score 100 in this IPL 18th edition. You see that coming in the coming week, Sri?
Yeah, it's not too far away, but as we always talk about numbers, I think the coveted number for a batter is 100, or for a bowler it could be a 5-wicket haul. But end of the day, if it's a match-winning 90 or a match-winning 80, of course, we saw Matre end up on the losing side, or Riyan Parag yesterday, ended up on the losing side just by 1 run. But Prabh Singh, he's been a revelation this year along with Arya at the opening. Because where we found a couple of teams that have really not propelled, especially the ones at the bottom, number 9 and 10, RR and CSK, has been the top order. Top order in the sense, I'm talking about the opening batters. I think they have never propelled their teams to good starts. Whereas Punjab Kings have had tremendous starts, strike rates in excess of 150, and the consistency with which they have played, I think it's been fantastic. So yes, I could see a 3-figure mark coming around, per se, in terms of a right-hander around the corner in this week. But nevertheless, these 90s have been really match-winning knocks, barring the 2. But end of the day, your contribution, whether it's 3-figure or 2-figure, has to come handy and good for your team's cause.
Right. And Gujarat Titans at the receiving end of Vaibhav Suryavanshi. But they are still in the top. They are having the best opening partnership in this IPL, contrary to KKR's. Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill is also leading by example, isn't he? And he is also one of the right-handed batsmen who missed out on 100, falling for 90. But then, like you said, it's just the contribution to the team. And 3 figures or two digits, it's just the team that wins. And contributing to the team, that's important. So Gujarat Titans, they are still a hot force in this IPL, isn't it?
No, I think they have most of the bases covered, and especially the most important thing for them is RR's loss was GT's gain. Because last year it was one-off knocks which, propelled RR to the playoffs, courtesy Joss Butler. But this year we are seeing a different Joss Butler. I mean, he's taken the, onus on himself, being the pro there out, and performing what he does at his best. Yes, but for them the cushion has been their opening partnership. Sai Sudarshan, the left-hander, the elegant left-hander, and Shubman Gill. I mean, typically we've been seeing batters bludgeon the ball, use power to play the shots. But these two guys, when they bat, it's like mirror images of the same batter. When there's a cover drive played by Shubman Gill, it's like Sai Sudarshan. You look at him in the mirror when he plays a left-hand cover drive. It's all elegance personified.
Right.
They are matching each other shot to shot, and no frills. No risks taken. I think that's what is the key about their partnerships. When they're getting those 70, 80, 100 run partnerships up front, it's been cricket which is being played without any frenzy. We are looking like it's been normal cricket. We feel like the red ball has been painted white when these two guys are playing. Absolute classic risk-free batting. I think if you ask me per se in terms of opening batters, I think these two have been the standout so far for GT, and for GT to sustain and make it to the playoffs. The form, the continued consistency of these two players are going to be very, very important in the coming week.
And it's not that they are just performing only in their homegrown Ahmedabad, but they are doing it away games also. 5 50-plus opening partnerships, including 200s. Sri, how about taking these two, making them open for India in the upcoming tests against England in England? W.V. Raman has written his column about taking him in the Indian team for the tests. Ravi Shastri has seconded the same. How do you look at this scenario? Wouldn't it be nice? Of course, it's nice to think about it, and it's up to the selectors. But the form that they are in, Gill and Sai Sudarshan, and that, of course, Gill, a proven performer at the test level also. Why not continue this partnership for India in England in the crucial 5-test series? How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think, Yashasvi Jaiswal has done really well for himself and for India in all the three formats. And yes, Sai Sudarshan stands a very, very good chance of making it to the Indian side. One, because of his current form. Number two, he's had experience of playing in England. He's turned out for the county side last year, where he did really well. And he's known the conditions well there also. And we also have an India A team that is going to tour England during the same time India plays the test series. So it's going to be a big contingent, could be 30, 35 people. But I believe firmly that he would be a part of the Indian squad.
Mm-hmm.
And why not? With the sort of form he's in and the familiarity with England conditions. So he certainly could be in run to make his debut for India in that series. And he's got the flair, a left-hander, that's an added advantage. Because whenever you've seen top sides do well at international level, they've always had 3 or 4 left-handers in the top 5 or 6. Be it Australia, be it England, even India when they have done well. And they had, the likes of Rishabh Pant really fire well. And at the top, we had Jaiswal doing well. We had Jadeja in the side. So a left-hander is a very, very key component in any batting lineup. And yes, I am pretty sure the selectors would be watching with bird's eye. And he's a sure shot to make it to the Indian side for the upcoming England tour.
Right. Sri, when we talk about teams having perfect matches, everything going their way, there are still a few hitches here and there, but we won't say a team has had a perfect game, but a near perfect game. And we saw Mumbai Indians have that in their last win, and they seem to be on a roll, winning 6 consecutive matches after their indifferent start. And yesterday we saw Punjab Kings also have a similar near perfect game. Their batsmen scoring 200 plus. Arshdeep starting, swing bowling, taking the top 3 dangerous batsmen from the LSG ranks. How do you look at a team having a perfect game where everything goes in their way? Batting, fielding, holding onto the catches, picking up wickets, and the team winning. Do you agree with this, having a near perfect game?
I think ticking all boxes would be a very difficult one, because there could be a slip up somewhere, because it's T20 cricket is very high intense. It's very high intense, and you would find a slip up somewhere. But having said that, I'm not surprised with the sort of start they've had and the resurgence back into the tournament. They've always been slow starters. Yes, they are now looking like a team that has got all their bases covered. I think already I did make this mentioned in the last show when we did, I think the comeback of Bumrah has made a massive difference. And also the form of Rohit Sharma. I think there is no substitute for experience in any format. It could be T20, it could be 50 over or Test match cricket. Experience is what is the most important thing, which both Rohit Sharma and Jasprit Bumrah have proved. And yes, their game plan has worked well, and more than anything, their execution has been perfect. So Mumbai has been there. Talking about Punjab Kings, in between, they had a little bit of a slump and their injury to Maxwell, which Ricky Ponting did express, saying that they're still trying to find a replacement, which they have got one. But I don't think that would have made a huge difference because Maxwell's contribution in this IPL has been nothing. So in a way, I think Punjab Kings, their think tank should be happy saying that, he's injured and is leaving the camp. They have a replacement. I think, yes, they had a good game last time around because for them, the most important thing is, again, they've relied too much on the starts. And also, Shreyas Iyer has been in good form. Josh English is somebody who's not come really good for them. I think somewhere his form, like, for KKR, when we talk about Dreras, is coming into form because one knock of his can really tilt the table. So otherwise, their bowling has been, pretty decent. But again, they have not turned out as a bowling unit in totality. Mm-hmm. Because we saw a hat-trick from Chahal in the last game when they played against CSK in Chennai. But in between, he was also off color. So like batting, even bowling is also about partnerships. Good that we saw Arshdeep Singh of the old, wherein he was able to get the ball bent back into the right-hander. August well. And also in such a long tournament, Gikku, it's very important for the teams to find that balance and the blend and, at least 8 out of the playing 11 to hit that sort of purple patch and form as they get to the business end. Because peaking far too early could, put you on the back foot when you get to the business end. To sustain the sort of consistency and form over 7-8 weeks is really tough. I think that's what Punjab Kings are doing now. That's why they're looking really formidable and dangerous.
Right. You just mentioned about Josh Inglis. And yes, if he gets going, it will be really good for PBKs. Yesterday, he was promoted up the order, batting at number 3. Looked like giving them a good score, but he hit those 3 sixes of Mayank Yadav in his first over, but then he fell for 30 odd runs. So he's at least shown promise, and probably he'll take on from this knock yesterday against the team that he played against LSG, and then maybe make it big in the coming matches. Talking about teams peaking, how do you look at Royal Challengers Bengaluru? They are number 1, and probably they are also ticking almost all the boxes, isn't it? With Kohli also forming a formidable partnership with the new partner, Jacob Bethel, who I read somewhere that he's the 3rd youngest overseas batsman to score a 50 in IPL, the left-handed batsman from England. And Kohli seems to be just scoring nothing less than a 50 in the last 4 matches.
I think now the team that everybody is eyeing to beat is RCB. I think it's been a dream run for them so far. And see, the advantage for Kohli has been his partner at the top. Salt came out firing all cylinders. And there was a little bit of dip in Salt's form. They got in Jacob Bethel. Again, somebody who's out there with a license to just express himself. So when you have a partner in you who can hit boundaries at will, all that Virat Kohli has to do is just knock the balls around, give the strike to them. And having known Virat, he's such a genius. He can just maneuver those gaps and, get you those boundaries. So that's allowing Virat to, he sort of rediscovered his own self of what Virat of 2016 was, where he got those 950 odd runs. And as you said, yes, they are looking like a side that is waiting to get beaten by most of the opponents they play today. Their fast bowling has come really good. Hazelwood has shown his class. Bhuvi's made a strong comeback. And in Hazelwood's absence, last game we saw, yes, they are really coming back strongly towards the death. Though they have only 2 spinners on hand, I think both of them have performed really, really well, but not much have been spoken about both of them. Suyesh has already always played as an impact, and the other one of Krunal Pandya. I think these 2 guys have been, 2 people who have really delivered well for them. So, as I already said, 18-18, could 18-18 be the number that's going to turn around? I think they are looking like an invincible side. Yes, touchwood, they play the sort of brand of cricket they've been playing and play with the same consistency and don't get complacent at any point of time. And also, touchwood, they don't have any injuries moving forward because we're getting to the business end of this tournament.
Right. And Virat Kohli, yes, 220-16 form, maybe even get better in this 18th edition of the IPL, number 18, like you said. Orange cap, how valuable is that? Because last week we saw the orange cap changing heads, and one thing that caught my eye was Suryakumar Yadav, who has been scoring a minimum of 25 in this IPL for Mumbai Indians. Something, a record that was set, 11 plus, 25 plus innings. He doesn't seem to own the orange cap for long. Once it was for just one match when Virat Kohli snatched it away from him. And the next time it was for one day when Sai Sudarshan snatched it away from him. But how do you look at the value of orange cap? Does it matter or it's just the number?
I think I would look at it as a bonus, Somebody gets an incentive in a corporate world. But to me, I believe it's not just about the quantum of runs or wickets somebody picks up for the orange and purple. Somewhere I think, it could be tweaked around saying how much of it has been instrumental in contributions to winning toss. We might have somebody score 700 runs and the team doesn't even make it to the playoffs. Now, just for the sake of the quantum of runs, or let's say somebody's got 16, 18 wickets, the team doesn't turn up into the playoffs. So, is it of any value? Yes, right. There's going to be incentive wide cash coming through and honors being done. But somewhere I feel, it could be equated also to the sort of contribution and impact those performances have had. Yes, in any tournament, you have the awards being given away for a lot of categories. But IPL always has held its own, the purple and the orange cap. I think it has a lot of value. And certainly the guys who end up with that, I certainly would see those teams make it to the top two.
Right. So just for the record, in the purple cap, it's Prasida Krishna with 19 wickets. But in the top 5, you have Noor Ahmed at number 4 with 16 wickets, but CSK are number 10 in the points table. And talking about orange cap, it's, of course, Virat Kohli, the invincible, with 505 at the top. And we also have Yashasvi Jaiswal, another of the teams that is knocked out, Rajasthan Royals, who is in the 4th. So like you mentioned, it's their contribution, and it doesn't matter if they score heavily, but the others don't support, and they are not making it to the playoffs. So quickly, looking at the week ahead, any particular match that you are particularly interested in, or that could change the tables, that some could play the spoil sport, some could make it to the playoffs straight away, booking their place. Any particular match that or any particular team that you are looking at?
My take is on the MIGT game. MIGT at Wankhede, that's going to be a humdinger because the sort of wickets we are looking at Wankhede are going to be high scoring, good value for shots, and bowlers who can extract some bounce from the wicket will have their say. I think that is going to be a mouth-watering contest, and that could define, GT placed at number 4 now, whether they will cement their place in the top 4 or the race to the middle will still get really hot. I think my game for the next week is GT versus MI.
Which is you don't have to wait for long. It is on Tuesday at the Wankhede, and I am, as much as you are looking forward to, I'm looking forward to, from the cool confines of the Bal Thakare press box at the Wankhede Stadium. So, on that note, shall we conclude this episode, Sri, and allow you to enjoy Madurai in whatever little time you have?
Yeah, pleasure it was talking to you. Of course, don't want to miss out on catching up with IPL. Looking forward to a really, really exciting week, which is going to have a lot of defining moments, and we would see more teams coming down and the race really getting hotter for the top 4.
Right, and next week when we meet in our next episode, there will be definitely at least one team joining RR and CSK with E next to them, and at least two teams with Q next to their names in the top. Until then, have a nice week. Take care, Sri, and have a safe journey when you're flying back to Bangalore. Enjoy Madurai.
Thank you, Jiko. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Bye-bye.